Good evening, I'm John Carter and welcome to Poland Daily. As reported by Poland Daily yesterday, Polish President Andrzej Duda's visit to the White House has been confirmed. The main talking points will include security issues, geopolitics, military alliance and economic cooperation.
Polish officials express hope that the agenda of the US and Polish presidents' meeting on September 18th at the White House will include the support of the American administration of Polish efforts to block the construction of the Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline. Donald Trump is the first US president who calls things straight up for what they are. According to journalist Marek Król, Andrzej Duda's visit to the White House can undoubtedly be qualified as a success for the Polish president. I think the United States understand that without the safety of Poland, there is no safety of Europe. At the beginning of August, the United States Congress approved the 2019 National Defense Authorization Act. One of its provisions was for the examination of the legitimacy of locating a fixed base of US troops in Poland. There is a good chance of it happening, and the visit could also lead to another purchase of American military equipment, at least according to Professor of American Studies Artur Wróblewski. Maybe Poland will negotiate the purchase of the Tomahawk-type missiles with the United States. It would be very important because only a few countries have this type of weaponry. Also, economic issues. Remember that while in 2016 we had $10 billion of trade between Poland and the US, that number increased to over $12 billion in 2017. President Duda's September visit will be his first official one to the White House. In addition to a private face-to-face meeting, both presidents will take part in plenary talks. The Polish president will also meet with US politicians in the United States Senate.
The Polish opposition party claims that the government is preparing to leave the European Union. The hysterical reactions come after a statement made by Deputy Prime Minister Jarosław Gowin, who suggested that Poland does not need to adhere to an unfavourable verdict on the Polish judicial reform about to be delivered by the Court of Justice of the European Union. According to the government, such rhetoric amounts to just empty threats.
Is poll exit a real possibility? According to the parliamentary opposition, definitely, and they view the actions of the ruling party as well as the recent statement made by the Deputy Prime Minister Jarosław Gowin as proof. Gowin claimed that should the Supreme Court verdict be unfavourable to the Polish government, it might be disregarded. The opposing parties understood his message as an indication that Poland could leave the European Union. When asked about the matter, Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki stated that we should first wait for the verdict from the Court of Justice of the European Union and that he is certain that either no verdict will be made or it will be favourable to Poland. He added, however, that the EU Court of Justice has 52 pending cases concerning failure to address its rulings, including verdicts given to countries such as Italy, Spain and Germany. None of them seem bothered with its rulings, and the fact that Poland is mentioned often is an effect of quote-unquote gibberish spewed by the opposition. Other MPs from the Law and Justice Party have similar views, denying there being any chance of a poll exit.
If
there is no agreement with the European institutions, if the European law is not respected, then what else is left for us in terms of the European Union? We can clearly see that Jarosław Kaczyński wants to lead us out of the Union and move closer to running the country more like, as one prominent law and justice politician called him, the warm man from Belarus. These are probably vain dreams of the opposition. Poland is a crucial partner within the EU. Ever since we won the elections, we stand our ground in Europe. Meanwhile, the statement made by the Deputy Prime Minister Gowin concerning the Polish stance on the EU Court of Justice verdict is Mr. Gowin's private opinion. When asked about the threat of pay cuts from the European Union until there is a supposed respect of the rule of law, Prime Minister Morawiecki said these were quote-unquote empty threats and urged the opposition to stop trying to scare Poles with such a scenario.
The President of the United States, Donald Trump, has delivered a warning to the Internet's most prominent giants, Google, Twitter and Facebook, accusing them of unfair practices towards their users. According to the US President, the companies attempt to silence the Conservatives and hide facts. Many Poles would probably agree with Trump on the matter. Several Polish conservative pages on Facebook have been taken down over the past couple of years.
Yeah, I think Google is really taking advantage of a lot of people, and I think that's a very serious thing, and it's a very serious charge. I think what Google and what others are doing, if you look at what's going on at Twitter, if you look at what's going on in Facebook, they better be careful, because you can't do that to people. You can't do it. We have literally thousands and thousands of complaints coming in, and you just can't do that. So I think that Google and Twitter and Facebook, they're really treading on very, very troubled territory, and they have to be careful. It's not fair to large portions of the population. Okay?
Many Poles shared the same view as Donald Trump. Almost 2 years ago, Facebook took down several Polish conservative Facebook pages and groups. Among them, the page of the controversial nationalist movement ONR, which, despite being viewed as too extreme by many, never broke any of the Facebook's regulations. However, most controversies arose with the page of the Independence Day march being taken down. The march, co-organized by the ONR, gathers tens of thousands of Poles every year on the streets of Warsaw to celebrate the regaining of independence by Poland. Nationalist groups make up only a very small percentage of the celebrating crowds, and people from all walks of life take part in the march. This kind of practice is typical on huge social media platforms, which often ban conservative accounts and websites, whilst failing to combat pornography and websites propagating Stalinism and Soviet symbols. These symbols equate to a regime comparable to Nazi Germany for Eastern European countries. It seems as if the internet giants are oblivious to their own rules and have targeted conservative voices around the world. It turns out those who speak about freedom of speech the loudest are those who limit it most.
Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán met with the Italian Minister of Interior Matteo Salvini today as they seek a solution for the European Union immigration crisis. At the press conference, the two leaders announced that they will form an anti-mass immigration front ahead of next year's elections to the European Parliament.
Viktor Orbán didn't hide the fact that the Italian Minister of Interior has made a huge impression on him. Salvini has earlier made a name for himself as one of the most ardent opponents of the EU's open-door immigration policy. I would like to get to know him personally. He is my hero and my companion of destiny. I'm a great admirer, and I feel like I have some experiences that I could share with him. According to Orbán, the people who control European institutions such as the European Commission and the European Parliament need to be replaced if the EU's immigration policy is to be changed. The European elections are coming up in May. We want to change a lot, but for that to happen we need a new European Parliament and a new European Commission which will start to protect Europe's borders. Salvini announced that he wants to join forces with Orbán ahead of the European elections in order to shape the EU's new immigration policy. We have been working for weeks with Germany to find a solution to the issue of immigrants who arrived in Italy and then went to Germany. The most important thing for us is that Italy will not take any new migrants. Viktor Orbán stressed that Salvini's quest to stop migrants from arriving in Italy is vital to the whole of Europe. Salvini is very popular in Hungary since he has shown that it's possible to stop migrants from crossing the sea. Out of all Mediterranean countries, Italy is the only one to have done it. Salvini is the first, and Europe's security depends on his success. Viktor Orbán has been in opposition to the immigration policy favoured by the European Commission and Angela Merkel for years. Lately, he has gained allies, such as Poland and Italy, in many parts of Europe.
Thank you for joining us here at Poland Daily. I'm John Carter. Join us after the break for Poland Daily Weather, and then join me after that for Poland Daily Business.